All right, this is the analysis on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think you're going to find this very interesting, this short-term analysis. It shows big risk into December over these next couple of weeks. This Binance Recovery Fund that they put together of 1 to 2 billion, I think it's way too small. And I think it's important to ask the question, well, then who's going to rescue Binance as they take on all of these troubled assets? Big trouble may be coming. Take a look. This is the daily chart on Bitcoin. You can see with our cycle analysis, what we're going to key in on here are what we call the minor cycles. These are these small blue ones that you see right in here. And you can see that there is a good reflection of the energetic movement of each of those small cycles that you see on the bottom, as shown by these light blue dotted lines right in here. The darker ones are the more dominant cycle, and when they come down together is when you tend to get the biggest risk on the downside. I just want to focus in right now on where we are in Bitcoin for this shorter time frame right in here, looking at just these next few weeks and out into December. I think what's key to look at here is this triangular shape. So what happens here is that the pressures from the more dominant cycles affect the pressure from the minor cycle. So here where you have a rising phase, you can see that it got up for a day but really couldn't move to the upside, hit some resistances up here, and then began to just move sideways. So that means that this upward pressure on this minor cycle is meeting a very strong downward pressure from this more dominant cycle that's coming down right in here. How do I know it's coming down? Because this low is way lower than where it began over here. That means that the greatest probability is that this will release to the downside in here as this corrective period then takes a hold. I want you to note in here this ETH, that's this green cycle right in here that's coming down at the same time, and that is suggestive of the fact that they will decline together, Ethereum and Bitcoin, which makes sense. Getting below this low, 4610, as you can see, we noted that as minor cycle low support, that breakdown would be negative below that level, and so it would likely bring some very strong selling. It would probably get you down to this level here around 13.4, 13.5 in Bitcoin. There is risk down here all the way down to 12.4. And then there's a weekly on the more on the longer cycle on the weekly chart comes down to about 10,000. This is 11.2 right over here. So there is a lot of risk here in these next couple of weeks. The trough timing is between these two lines right over here, which means that we would expect the low to come right around the end of November out until the second week of December there. Then after that, there is another period where it could try to rebound, but then a lot of risk out over here into the late December, beginning of January period. So right now, as we focus in on these next couple of weeks, there is significant downside risk in here. Remember that this Binance rescue plan with $1 to $2 billion is really small relative to the nightmare that's going on in this whole industry. So this is really a reflection of what could be a breakdown coming again in these next couple of weeks. Let's just switch this over to Ethereum, ETH, and we will look here at this same, let's just get this proper /ETH. And we will see a similar thing going on here in Ethereum, and that would be where these next few weeks, let's just get a little closer look in here, is reflective of the potential breakdown and downside risk here. And what that looks like is that these downside targets right over here point to around 900. Now, I don't have this extended out like I have this in the Bitcoin market, but you get the idea. This same triangular shape right in here, and the attempted rally that failed. Now, what's important to note, and I'll go back to Bitcoin too, is that on the bottom here is our slim ribbon SPO. This is a momentum signal that says the downward pressure from this slim ribbon here, which is negatively configured, is likely to cause more downside movement. So right now we're getting this little rebound in here on this Binance news that you can see that Binance will be trying to rescue this industry, but overall the probabilities are high that this is going to break to the downside. If it doesn't, if it can hold in here in the rectangle, in the triangle, then it probably means a little rally out over here and then turning down into that December period that we talked about in Bitcoin. One more thing I want to show you in Bitcoin is this momentum conditions right in here that I think are so important, and that is the slim ribbon right in here, which shows you the negative configuration pointing downwards in here, and this same negative resumption signal that you see right over there, which says there is a strong likelihood that Bitcoin is going to be moving to the downside. So we talk about very significant risks to the downside here in this market.